Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, and we'll get started on our next multiplayer matchup. I'm going to be playing as the Tyranids against the Blood Angels. We're going to be playing on the Ghostlands, and it's a season control objective for 2,000 points. We have a 100-point target and a 10-turn limit. If you're enjoying these videos, please give my channel a like and subscribe. Encourage me to post more content for you. And at the end of the video, I'll kind of discuss how I can give some feedback to this player, since he is a newer player, and I've done a couple of games with him now. And see if we can make this game more enjoyable for some of the newer players. So I'm just going to get our guys repositioned here, but it should be pretty straightforward as I'm playing with the swarm tactic. So there's not a ton of strategy, and for these season control maps, I think the swarm tactics are one of the most powerful methods that you can use for the strategies, I should say, because they can really counter even the Space Marines pretty effectively with all their ranged synapses and their bonuses here. So I've got two Termagants, one of which is our HQ unit. Just trying to make sure I got things synced up fairly reasonably here so I can maximize my synapses for the accuracy and swarm tactics. I've got 1, 2, 3 warriors, 3 venom thropes. And the reason I want to do with the venom thropes is they can soak up Overwatch when you're using their spore cloud, and then if they drop the acid in the area, it'll increase the damage units take. I've got 2 Thornbacks. Since I have 20 points remaining, I guess I'll put a Death Splitter on one of them. And just trying to decide which side I want them to have it, and I figure, well, they're more likely to be on the right side there. And then I've got 2 acid sprayers, 2 gene stealers, and then the rest of my points were filled out with termagants to just try to soak up Overwatch fire, or soak up shots, since I assume he's going to use a heavy jump infantry military. So it's like I would like the venom thropes to be towards the front, so that way they can trigger the attacks. Same with you know, these acid sprayers and everything too. Just bringing everybody up here. Yeah, I was not a big fan of the Gene Stealers, but after playing some matches with some other people, they're making me reconsider my thought on that, because if you can keep them alive and then you can stack the synapses on them, the swarm tactics, they can really put out a lot of damage. I, for some reason, always thought that they couldn't get the swarm tactics. I thought they only got the evasion stacks with the other Gene Stealers, so thanks to the other player for educating me on that one, because definitely making me reconsider how I build some of these. It's like I want to get these guys up as far as I can, and then if he decides to jump in, then I can use the Thornbacks to charge through. And it's like just trying to get all these synapse creatures as close as possible. Because again, trying to stack buffs as much as I can. Now here I'm just trying to decide how do I best want to do this, because I don't want them to jump me. I'm just trying to get the Termagants in the front as much as I can. And my thought here is, well, if I have these guys kind of on the side, if they jump in, I should maybe get some Overwatch, and then I can run in there with my Tyranid effects here to maybe spray into guys, or if I keep them on the side and they try to jump me from the side, you'll be able to spray and get some kills. So just setting up some Overwatch here. Unfortunately, on the season control, that thing in the middle counts as heavy cover, and so it blocks your line of sight and your range, so I think that's kind of stupid that way that is. I wish there wasn't anything in there, it was just a big open area. I think from a design perspective, though, they do it because they probably have kind of the same coding as they do with like the strategic command in the center, where it kind of blocks that spot, is why I assume that's how it works, but not entirely sure. And here I was just trying to decide, am I going to put these guys on the right or the left side? Because it's like typically they'll be more aggressively coming from the left side, but then if I'm going to use them to shoot and stack synapses, maybe I want them from the right, so then I can move them around. And it seems like the Tormagants on the right side have been kind of deployed a little more effectively than on the left side, so I decided to keep them on the right side here. And just kind of positioning our guys here, getting ready for his attacks, but there's not really much I'm going to get for overwatches since I'm on the stairs right now. And again, I'm just trying to deploy these guys forward. And I figure, well, even if he sprays the thorn back there, it will do minimal damage, so I shouldn't really need to worry. In case he gets attacked, we'll give him the healing. It's like his predator shows up. This guy's Tech Marine here. And he decides he's going to shoot into those guys. It's like, alright, well, the whole Predator's turn was used and couldn't even kill a Termagon, so I'm not too sad about that. I am a little sad about this, however, because he's got all these Hellblasters. This guy loves his Hellblasters. He always seems to bring at least 3 or 4 of them on our matches. And so this is like optimal for him, because he can just sit here and shoot straight ahead and get attacks. But once I close the distance, you know, he's in a lot of trouble. But it's like, alright, he's now killed my Thornback. He's moving around with his assault infantry. Now, it looks like the tank is in place, but it's not. So he ran it out of there. So I got dinged on points even though there's nobody in here. So it's like this, the asynchrony is still screwing up the system here. So that gets pretty frustrating that keeps happening. And here it's like, well, I might as well just charge this guy in here and try to lock these tanks down. And it'll give me an opportunity to see what he has for forces. And it's like, well, if I just kind of bring all these guys over, if he decides he wants to jump behind the Tyrannifex and get some attacks, I'll get a bunch of Overwatch shots into him. So now I'm pretty much just focusing on moving these Tormagons forward to just create a big wall of synapses, with the hope being that I can stack a lot of stuff. But then I'm like, oh shit, I didn't actually move around with my Venom Thropes here, so I should probably be doing that. So it's like, we'll put the acid down on the area here so everybody takes additional damage if they get into range there. And it's like, we'll bring these guys up, summon some more Tormagons, bring him down here because he should be safe even if he gets attacked. And it's like, okay, so he pretty much has the same kind of army as he has on some of these other battles we've done. He's likes his death companies. He has possibly 1 or 2 assault marines. He sometimes brings them, sometimes he doesn't. He's going to have 2 sanguinary guards. He always kits his lieutenant out for with a Thunderhammer to do a bunch of killing, but then he tends to overextend them, so I'm like, I wonder if I can bait him into doing that again here, because then I can stop him from using all those command points on me. And then again, just assuming he's going to be jumping in here, let's throw some more of that acid out. We'll have him use a Spore Cloud. Bring the Thorn back up. And we'll start filling in some of these holes here. And then the other thing that's nice about the swarm tactics is I'm getting points for every unit that I have on here right now. It's like, well, let's move you up even further because I don't want them jumping behind me. So I'll run those guys in here, so now I've got a solid wall of units. And it's like I could attack the tank, but he's probably just going to heal up. Be able to, because he's going to heal 75. So I feel like I should just set up the Overwatch. Excuse me, in case he decides to try to flank me and get a rear attack. Was what my thought was there. Now again, because that stupid box is in the way and counts as full cover, I'm taking quite a bit of penalties here. And so then for this guy, I was like, well, what do I want to do to hold the line here? Because I don't want him getting all these shots into me. What I end up doing is moving him up here, and then he's going to come here, so I was hoping I could aggro his Hellblasters into an open area so I could get some attacks. And I bring this guy up here. And it's like, well, if I came there I could acid spray the Hellblasters, but then all the other Hellblasters are going to be getting me, and he's going to be left out in the open. So I thought, that's just a bad idea, so we'll acid spray here. And I was like, if I do that, are those Termagants going to get acid sprayed? And I'm like, well, only if he flies in from the angle from up top. So I thought, well, they're probably going to be safe and not get sprayed, so it's probably okay. But I think we all know that that is not going to be the situation. So that was definitely some faulty thoughts on in my thinking here. And then I decided to bring these ones up just to protect the Tyrannofex from getting flanked here. And kind of as expected, he's running the Sanguinary Guard up here. Now, I would have expected him to do the charge attack instead of landing, so again, I'm not sure if he quite understands how the charge works. And unfortunately, if I would have had my guy turned, he would have got a bunch of counterattacks on these. But, because I have him facing forward, because I was expecting him just to do the charge attacks on me. I lost out on one of those counterattacks, which probably would have killed one of the Sanguinary Guard models had he landed the attack, which there's no guarantee, since, as you saw, he just missed one of them against the Lieutenant here. And runs down here to attack Tyrannofex and kills him. And now he's starting to pull these guys back. He's going to get his heal. And now he prudently is using his tank along the pillar there to soak up a lot of Overwatch. And again, it looks like it's big and open, but it's not because of the box and all those other units that are in front of there, so these guys have like abysmal chances to hit. Now he's going to want to take down the Tyrannofex here. And that's not a bad plan, because the Tyrannofex will mess up any of his infantry. But now he just can't quite. This is what's so difficult on some of these maps, is because for whatever reason, Slytherin decides that a good map just has a lot of obstacles, even though so many of the units have ranged attack. So it's like, all right, so everything's partially obstructed, and he's having trouble getting the attacks. And what he's doing is focusing himself back into that corner, and it's like, if I can close the distance there, I can trap all those Hellblasters in. And he, of course, jumps that corner, because I thought he was going to go with the Death Company first. Instead he uses the Sanguinary Guards, but I'm actually quite happy, because I would really like to kill the Sanguinary Guards over the Death Company. So it's like, alright, I've now killed 2-3 models there, so I'm like, sweet. So now he's not going to be able to drop this guy, and you'll get another counterattack. So it's like, now you killed another model. And then these guys are still shooting and doing good damage because of all the buffs with the swarm tactics. Attacks here, and then I get a counterattack and drop another model. He runs away with this guy. I then kill that squad. So now he's almost ready for surging, but unfortunately he has another death company here and he gets a kill. But it's not the end of the world, because now I have all these guys trapped into close quarters with me. And I've got a bunch of Tormagants that can land shots into him. So it's like, alright. And now he's like, well, I'm just going to run in here and land some attacks against the Venom Thropes here. So it's like, alright, now I'm up to 55 points because I got 60 with all the units that are there. So I'm like, this is looking pretty good for me right now. So it's like, how can I clean these guys up so I can start going? And he moved the Hellblasters in, so now I can literally body block them in there. So I'm like, alright, I need to get rid of these freaking death companies that are in my way here. Just like, what can I do to guarantee these kills? But I just can't seem to line up my attacks well. And I'm like, well, nobody really needs to be healed, so maybe I'll just run up here and then use those spines to smack those ones. And it's like I got a 100% chance to do damage here. Unfortunately, it doesn't really do great damage. It's like, well, let's just fire into these guys. And unfortunately, he's got 2 health left. So I'm like, damn, that sucks. So I'm like, well, what I should have done is taken that single Tormagant there and just run over and got the attack. But I'm like, whatever. I just need to get over there so I can start body blocking. And it's like, well, if I can get down here, I can start getting rear attacks on all these predators. And it's like, oh, I can also just drop the acid back here and then everybody will suffer increased damage. So it's like, do I prefer to get a full rear attacks with these guys, or do I want to buff the damage? And it's like, well, let's buff the damage and then we can also poison units. So I felt like that was a superior option. Now it's like, well, let's get our Gene Stealers back here. Fortunately, the other Gene Stealer is so far behind, it's like, well, I'm not going to be able to get there very easily. And it's like, I'd definitely like to focus and kill the Lieutenant, because with all the killing I'm going to be doing, he's definitely going to get some points. So now I'm trying to decide, would it make more sense for me to charge in, to kill those guys? Do I want to get behind the tank and get some damage there? What would be the most effective method? And it's like, well, I'd really like to kill these Death Company boys here. Like, let's launch some more attacks over there. It's like, well, you're just blocking things right now, so let's just move you up. Move you up. It's like you've got 89% chance to hit, so we'll just let you fire into these guys. Should get most of the kills. Unfortunately, it was a little short, but now you've got the extra attack, so I'm like, alright, that's pretty good. So it's like, back, do I charge? But it only does 90 to 120, and it's like, that's not better than my regular attack. Especially if he's going to get plus 35% damage received. Now, I should have moved other units up further to start doing the better synapses here, so that was a mistake on my part. But it's like, alright, now I've practically killed him. And it's like, I can charge into there. I can get the kill here. It's like, I want to save his point so he can use his strafing run. It's like the Death Company only has 1 guy there, so we'll let him attack. And then we'll run up with the Venom Thropes here, and then he should be able to just get the attack here and kill that unit. So it's like, alright, good. And now it's like, I really want to get you up here to start landing some attacks. And it's like, but I'd really like to kill his lieutenant. And what I'm worried about is the hand flamers. It said it had a range of 2, so I wasn't sure where he had the flame attack set up. So I guess it's truly a range of 1. So I just use that single unit there to soak up the Overwatch. Because that can kill a full unit of or I should say a full squad of termagants, which is what I didn't want to happen. So now I'm just trying to decide who do I want to use to attack, and I use the Gene Stealers here. And it's like, let's just bring you up here to get 2 swarm tactics. And then he obviously got the kill, so we run him away before it explodes on me. And now it's like, alright, I've locked these guys down. You're over here. And now it's time to start surrounding them with warriors. To get a bunch of attacks in them here. That's alright, 108, not bad. I've now got 2. So it's like, alright, we're gonna strafe back here. So I could strafe there, but I think I would rather just take out all these Hellblasters. Because with them being poisoned, it's gonna double the amount of poison damage they suffer too. So it's like, alright, let's just strafe them. And now I've almost neutralized those guys all the way. So I'm like, alright, this is going well. Now, if I can just take out that lieutenant, I can stop them from counter-strafing me, which would definitely do a lot of damage, unfortunately. It's like, well, let's just use your little spine salvo there, I should say. It's like, alright, you got 2 swarm tactics here, so that's not terrible. It's like, let's run this guy up here so he can benefit from some additional. Now, what I should have done is move that Termagant over 1 more, since he had additional movement yet, and then I could have done even more synapses. But I wasn't really thinking, unfortunately. Because if I would have, it would have been an easy kill there. But instead, I gotta waste another attack here.
You'll need more than that.
It's like, well, let's shoot into the Death Company then. It's like, well, you got 52% chance to hit here. It's like, we'll bring you there, bring you here, bring you there. I'm like, well, you probably have a better chance to hit if I move you up. So I bring him here, and it's like, alright, 63%, 75% chance. That's pretty decent. So now I bring these other ones up. It's like he's in full cover with 48 there, so it's like, shit, that kind of sucks. It's like, well, you should pretty easily get a kill here, and that should get you some bonus attacks. I'm like, at 48, you should kill these 2 guys, hopefully. He does that, but he doesn't get the extra AP, unfortunately. So it's like, alright, well, you're up to 81% chance to hit. So let's just fire into the Sanguinary Guard here. And it's like, well, we've got a point here, so let's just do that, I guess. So it's like, alright, now I've locked these guys down. I've got this locked down. I'm going to bring you over here in case he tries to run away with his predators. And it's like, well, let's just start bringing everybody together so we can start stacking our swarm tactics here. And we can also keep filling up the boxes here to get even more points, since so many of my guys have been run off of the point here. and deflames those guys. Now, what I didn't realize is when they kill guys with their ranged weapons, they do the damage surge. So I was a little surprised by that. It's like, alright, now he's taken out 2. But then he runs away for some reason, which I don't quite understand. So he gave me free attacks of opportunity. And then the weird thing is here, instead of going into melee, he shot with his bolt gun there. And it's like, if that's the case, why run in there? Because you could have just stayed at range and then run away from me. But by moving into the front there, all he did was keep his sanguinary guards closer to me to be able to swarm on them. So I don't quite understand what his thought process was there. It's like, alright, he's dead now. He's dead. They're dead. So it's like, alright, poison's kicking in and we're up to 90. So it's like, excellent. And it's like, well, I'm just going to charge down here then. Start focusing these guys down. And it's like, bam. And we'll just bring the venom thropes down here and start slapping them around. And unfortunately still has got a unit left here. I'm like, well, we'll run you up a little bit. And it's like, well, we'll just summon another squad here, and then he can shoot into there. Got the kill. It's like, well, I guess let's just shoot into these guys, get the kill there. And I'd like to just start stacking guys around my Gene Stealers to do a bunch of swarm tactics here. So now he's got 4 swarm, which brings him up to tons of damage there. So it's like they by themselves just did 224 damage. So it's like, well, let's start moving these guys around to stack up the swarm tactics on these other ones here. It's like if I do this, that'll bring them up, and then they can just shoot into this guy. So he's now down, and they're up to 3. So it's like, well, I might as well just move you down to here to start coming after the Tech Marine. So I tech here. And unfortunately, he's just short. So I'm a little sad by that. But it's like, well, he should be able to get the kill here then. And he does, so I run out before it blows up my guys. And I run the Venom Thropes down here. It's like, well, let's start putting the guys over this way in case there's any unexpected findings. It's like, well, let's start clearing out these guys maybe. So we'll shoot here. They're down. Shoot into this guy. Again, it's like I should be maximizing my swarm tactics here. It's like they got an attack, so we'll do this again. He's just a little short, unfortunately. It's like move you back, move you here, shoot here. He's dead. Now, unfortunately, he's now out of movement, so I just blocked myself. So I'm a little frustrated that I did that. So it's like, would it be better to get him into melee to attack or keep him at range? And it's like, well, I'm just short of 2, so hopefully if I kill the Tech Marine, that should get me the points I need. And it's like, alright, now got you your bonus. And yep, that was enough to bring me up to 2, so it's like, we'll definitely strafe the Sanguinary Guard then.
challenge us from
And
afar.
that did some damage to him. Not exactly great damage, but did some. So I was like, well, let's just probably shoot into there. It's like, let's start moving everybody down if I can. It's like if I move you here, should be good. Again, I'm annoyed about the situation here. I'm just kind of running these guys around. I'm like, well, if I shoot into here, hopefully that'll get some attacks. And it does. And it's like, okay, he's down to one guy now. So this should obviously be all I need to get some kills. And he's down, and I ended up tabling him. And with that, we have secured our victory. So, you know, this player keeps kind of using very similar compositions of his forces. So a lot of the recommendations I'd have would be similar. You know, he's got too many Hellblasters. So as you can see, they do give some good use. But he likes to use the charge attack a lot, so he ends up damaging his own units a lot. And the Hellblasters, well, they're good, and they can be used to take out low-tier units as well. Once you close the distance, they just can't stay alive, and especially on maps like this where you need to kind of be engaged. I think going with more of a melee force or even dreadnoughts would be a much smarter choice than the Hellblasters here. Now, he was able to kill, you know, my Thornback, but again, 3-4 Hellblasters all attacking to kill one Thornback doesn't seem like a great trade-off, because then they're in range of my other units here. The Hand Flamers did work out well for him. Like I said, while I generally don't use the Hand Flamers, they are pretty good against Tyranids, especially if they use the Swarm, because you can kill a whole squad. And then when you have the Death Company, because they already start with 50 momentum, if you knock out a full squad, I think that gives you another 50, so you'll automatically get 2 flame attacks. And if you keep flaming whole units, then they can keep getting additional attacks every other turn. So you can definitely do some crazy damage that way. And because the Hand Flamers, and you kill a unit, that still counts as kills for your stacking your I forget what it's called, the Black Rage. Then they can start to really buff their melee damage. And because the Hand Flamers always hit at 100% accuracy, the accuracy debuffs they suffer may not even really affect the Hand Flamers. So you could really probably get out of control as long as you can keep them alive. Now again, he was kind of putting them into vulnerable situations where I was unable to totally slaughter them. But you could definitely make some scary combos that way. He did well with the Predators. You know, he was moving around, he had them together, so that way I couldn't flank him as easily, but he left a big avenue, a big L shape there between the tanks and his Hellblaster, so I could just fill up that whole area, and then I can use my Venom Thropes to start stacking damage debuffs on them. So definitely a little mistake there. I think he was like, well, I'll just try to save my Hellblasters, but you know, if he would have used one to sacrifice it, then I would have helped interfere with some of my movement potentially to not be able to totally kill everything there. And then again, he kind of hit all of his Hellblasters in the line there, and you know, I can't fault him for that because of his build. That's really where you have to put him if you want to be able to land attacks, but it just makes them easy for the Tyranids to pick off and slaughter. So again, the less Hellblasters, more, you know, Furioso Dreadnoughts with the Hand Flamers, or, you know, Terminators if you want to do that, or even going with your Assault Marines. Now, I would have been able to take a lot of the Assault Marines out with my Swarm Tactics here, but at least he could have been throwing around his crack grenades and some other things, because he was forcing a lot of engagements with his other jump infantry that he didn't really need to take all that damage, but he would kind of put him in a vulnerable situation. And then again with the Lieutenant, you know, he kitted him out to be a melee combatant, which he's very good at, but the problem is he selects him as his HQ commander, and then he jumps out there. It makes it easy for me to be like, oh shit, there's his HQ commander, I better kill him so I can waste all of his command points, because once he dies, you lose those points, and then the other commander, if you have one, becomes an HQ promotion, but he starts back at 0 points. So therefore you have to start over, because I don't want him to get to 2, because then he's able to start summoning additional assault marines to start attacking me, or with the swarm tactics you just got to be careful with, because everything's going to be tight together, and then if he starts using all of his strafing runs, he can really damage a lot of your units, and that can get out of control. Or if he somehow got to the third tier, he just drops a nuke on you, and then that'll kill anything in a 9 square radius, assuming they're low tier. And then I think it does like 100 damage with 8 armor piercing or something to the one in the center. So it definitely can be a bad time if you let that happen to you. Let's see, anything else? I think those are kind of the main things. Like I said, he has pretty similar builds on most of our matches together, so I hope he watches these videos and kind of gets some feedback here, because I think he's going to suffer if he keeps using 3 or 4 Hell Blasters, especially if he's not using other units, because he's going to get himself overwhelmed, because it's pretty an elite tier force. Now, the one thing he does have going for him with the Hell Blasters, he always used the unupgraded ones, so then they can be used against multi model squads, so they're not total loss like if you use the heavy incinerator they would be, because they can only kill 1 model per squad. But it also causes him to have a lot of attacks where he's not really getting the point value back. So if you're enjoying these videos, please give my channel a like and subscribe. Encourage me to post more content for you. If you want to play a match against me and get some feedback, just send me a message on YouTube. Create a private game, let me know what the password is, and I'm happy to play a match with you, and I can give you some feedback at the end. Likewise, if you're watching my tips videos and you disagree with the tips and you want to show me something that you think I'm wrong about, and you want to show me in a match, let me know. I'm more than happy to do that. Like I said, I was always pretty negative on the Gene Stealers, but after playing a couple matches and people showing me how well they can use the swarm tactics to really get some crazy damage, definitely had to reconsider that. So I'm very appreciative, and then I can share that when I get to the Tyranid tip section. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.